So today will be, when this goes out, Time to Talk Day. And Talking Freely is an organisation that we set up to get people talking about mental health. So it's a big day for us. And I thought we've got an event coming up, and I'd like to talk a little bit about that so that our community know what we're planning. But I just wanted to start things off by asking you how you're doing.
Thanks, Tony. This is a great idea, by the way. Yeah, I'm doing all right, I think, at the moment. Keeping busy with work. I know a lot of people have found this lockdown harder than the first one, but actually that's not been the case for me. And I think that's because I feel like I know what I'm doing a bit more. I work in HR, so the first one was complete chaos because none of us knew what furloughing was. So that during that first one, I kind of was taking on a lot of pressure, everybody else's emotions, daughter not engaging with homeschooling, like a lot of children. So it was quite difficult, that one. Yeah. Whereas this time, daughter's happier, I know what I'm doing, my clients know what they're doing, and I just feel that I'm coping a little bit better with it this time. Yeah. How about you?
Well, I am the yin to your yang, because I'm the other way around. I found it a lot easier the first time. Right. And I'm struggling a lot more this time. I think there's probably an element now of thinking, just want it to be done. We've done the whole lock away. But I think just what we were chatting about off camera, about it's winter, and I am quite tuned into that. My mood would normally take a bit of a dip at this time of year anyway. So yeah. When you start factoring in all of the other, the kind of the stresses and the strains around, but the homeschooling and that, and that's something I'm feeling more acutely this time. The first time round, I was a little bit more, see how it goes, and we need to focus on keeping our kids mentally well, and the homeschooling will take care of itself. But now I'm a little bit more thinking about, we do need to get our heads around this homeschooling, because this is twice in a year, and actually it's not a one-off. It's now been twice, and we don't know for sure if it'll happen again. Hopefully it won't. So yeah, I found it a bit tougher. It's not been as easy this time round.
I think with the kids and their mental health, I think they're, like all of us, they cope with things differently in different ways, don't they? And there's, I know my daughter's school is doing a brilliant job with live stream lessons to the timetable, and that's really suiting some of the children because they like that structure. Whereas other children thrived with the more freedom that they had last time, with sort of, was maybe lower expectations, because we all thought, they'll be back at school soon. It's not going to have that much of an impact, which I think we all know now is not the case.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? We're all humans and we're all different. And, I think that we've seen that quite a lot in some of the conversations, and particularly the way things have played out on social media. A lot of people getting frustrated that not everyone sees this the same way, because we're all built differently and we all see the world slightly differently as well.
Absolutely, and it impacts different people in different ways, doesn't it? We've all got different careers, we've got different work and family lives, different commitments, and for some people things are rosy, and for others they're really quite the opposite. And I think we just need to all start being a little bit more understanding of that difference.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. And on that, that's really what's brought us together to be talking today, but talking about a different project, because Talking Freely, like everyone, I think, when this started, and because we've run for the last, forever on voluntary time, it was one of the first things when this kicked in a year ago, it was just too much for us to take on board, really. But we've started to blend into the online world a little bit now. And then you approached me towards the end of last year about potentially putting on a Talking Freely event. And yeah, tell me what was going on, what inspired that, Ruth?
So that was as the government changed the furlough scheme towards the end of last year, companies were having to make decisions about making redundancies. So there was that kind of cliff edge where the furlough scheme wasn't quite as supportive and the employers were having to pay more to keep people on furlough, and financially for businesses that hadn't operated all year, say, particularly hospitality, events, that kind of thing, we started to see a lot of redundancies. And I started getting phone calls as an HR business. I started getting phone calls from individuals, and now I'm not a solicitor. I'm employment law qualified for the purposes of what I do with business, but not to give individuals advice. So I was spending a lot of time signposting people, having conversations with quite distraught people sometimes, and saying, okay, well, I can't really help you, but I know these people that can. And I just felt there was a lack of resource out there to reassure people if they've been treated fairly in the first place. And I think if you've been made redundant, there is always that feeling of it's unfair. And just having somebody to talk it through with and understand that they had been treated fairly. It's a rubbish situation, but what can you do now? What can you do about it now? And I just felt there was a need for support with these people because losing your job is a form of grief. Job loss is a major cause of grief and distress. And if people don't deal with that and don't deal with the immediate physical needs, that can easily spiral into mental health issues. So that's why I came to you.
Yeah, well, yeah. So it was an interesting challenge for us because for sure, job loss and associated financial impact are massive risk factors in spiraling mental health and developing mental health conditions and illness. But generally, when we run Talking Freely events, they do what it says on the tin. It's about getting people talking freely about mental health. Yeah. And I suppose looking at that in terms of our needs, it's very much around meeting an emotional need for people. It's very much around building awareness as well and saying, hey, it's okay to talk, but actually it can be hard to talk and we can help you to talk. But it's very much around that emotional need. And my experience of A, talking freely about job loss, and B, perhaps where I might have seen that within my clinical work as an acupuncturist, is that people can struggle to address their emotional needs when they're facing job loss or when they've just faced job loss or they have a big financial issue to navigate, because that practical need is at the forefront of their mind. And then I had a conversation with a counsellor the other day about this, and she said, oh, you're talking about Maslow's hierarchy of need. And I said, oh, yes, so I am. I'd forgotten about that, and that's exactly what it is. So the challenge for us as Talking Freely was to put on an event where the pitch was right and where the conversation was right. So this will be slightly different for us. I mean, it will still be Talking Freely, but what we're trying to do with the event is marry up that emotional need, but to make sure that we can meet people's practical need, or that we can have conversation that centers around that practical need, because people may not be in a position where they can talk about their mental health and well-being in that context. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's coming up 24th of February.
Yeah, very, very soon now. It's catching up on us. Yeah,
very soon. So and hopefully releasing the registration details on Friday. So for the benefit of anyone watching this, it's a registration event. It'll be taking place online. It will feature a number of speakers who can talk from their own lived experience of job loss and how their careers have had to change in response to things that have been going on, how they've managed their mental health as a result of that. But in support of the speakers, we'll have some people from with various employment-related expertise who you can book short one-to-one chats with, and then potentially to arrange a more detailed meeting if you need to. So people like Ruth from HR, we have people from with recruitment experience, etc., etc. So keep an eye on the Facebook page where we'll release more details of that and registration, and the event will be run by Zoom on the 24th of February. So, Ruth, I think, thanks very much for agreeing to talk to me freely on Time to Talk Day. And I look forward to having another chat with you on the 24th of February and hopefully seeing lots of people at our event.
Yeah, I really hope people find it valuable. That was the whole concept. And it'd be great to have a very full Zoom room.
Great, thank you. And I hope you continue to thrive in lockdown.
Thanks, Tony. Hope it turns around for you.
Yeah, it'll be okay. I'm going to go for a walk in a minute. At least it stopped raining today, so I can go and get a good walk, and that will definitely pick me up.
Definitely.
So, take care.
Thanks. Bye.